What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to Epic Universe, the brand new theme park here at Universal Orlando Resort. Today we are heading on inside to try out every single test seat on all the attractions here that have a test seat to show you guys how they work, how far down they need to go, and how I fit in them. So that way you guys will know how you will fit prior to your vacation here to Epic Universe. Before we get started, I just want to say I am currently 5'5" and currently weigh 275 pounds. You can kind of get a feel for my dimensions over here. You can see how big I am in the gut. But with all that being said, let's head on inside the park, have some fun, and try some test seats. Before we get into it, I just want to say that if you find this video helpful in planning your Epic Universe vacation, then please help us out by leaving a like on the video and sharing it around with your friends and family so they can know what to expect on their vacations. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, then subscribe to the channel for absolutely free. So the first world we're going to be exploring today is Super Nintendo World. This is home to 3 attractions, all of which we have covered on the channel in the past, so we aren't going to spend too long here. The first attraction of the day is going to be Kart Madness in the Donkey Kong Country section. Alright, here's a look at the test seat for Donkey Kong Kart Madness. This is very similar setup to what we had in Japan. The exact same ride vehicle. We're going to go ahead and push this down. And boom, right there you can see is where the green light is. Plenty of room. Plenty of room. The background noise was pretty intense here, so we're just going to do a voiceover. The seat itself is pretty roomy and offers a lot of leg room. The restraint barely touches my gut when it turns green. So this attraction is pretty accommodating, and most guests under 300 pounds shouldn't have any issues. This is a family roller coaster that offers mild thrills with a pretty rocky layout, so be prepared for some shaking. Alright, next up we have Yoshi's Adventure. We're not going to be riding, but we are going to be checking out the test seat. Yoshi's Adventure is a slow-moving Omni-Mover ride that offers show scenes both indoors and outdoors. Very easygoing ride with no thrills at all. Okay, so here is the test seat for Yoshi's Adventure. It's actually outside compared to the one in Japan, which is inside. And a huge, huge difference is that there's no minimum close. So as long as it locks, you're good. So in Japan, it had to go down all the way. But over here, they've made it so that way as long as it touches you and it locks, you're good. Holy crap, that is incredible. Bravo, Universal. That is nuts. All right, here we are at Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge. Again, we're not going to be riding this attraction today, but we are going to be looking for the test seat. Mario Kart is a slow-moving dark ride that simulates fast movement and uses AR to show Mario characters in the real world racing alongside you. It doesn't offer much in thrills, but it is still a very fun ride for any Mario fan. So in case you guys are looking for the test seat right here at the entrance, it's going to be over here on the left. You can see test seat right above. All right, so here is the test seat for Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge. You can see test seat is exactly the same as what you have over in Hollywood and Japan. We're gonna go ahead and close this to show you how far down it needs to go. And you can see it flashes green right about here. So that is plenty of wiggle room. And something to pay attention to is this indicator over here. Let me zoom in. This indicator over here has to be completely yellow in order for you to fit. So you can see how it's half black, that's a no-go. Fully yellow, that's a go. So there is a little bit of a step down into the right vehicle, but all you have to do is just sit down and pull, and boom. This thing is barely touching my stomach, and I get the green. And even when I was at my heaviest, at close to 350, 340, I was able to ride this when Super Nintendo World opened in Hollywood. So even if you're heavier, you can squeeze this down and still get a green light on this ride. So for the most part, I'm pretty gosh darn accommodating. And here we are, guys. How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk. Our second portal of Epic Universe. My second most anticipated land. I cannot wait to head on inside. All right, here we are. Hiccup's Wing Gliders, the roller coaster here in Isle of Berk. Let's go find the test seat. So we're about to do Hiccup's Wing Gliders, and something that I learned is that the test seat, let me lower my exposure. Something that I learned is that the test seat is actually inside the attraction by the lockers. There are lockers for this ride. You're not allowed to bring any small bags with you, so just be aware of that. So we're gonna try and find the test seat real quick before we get on, because I need to verify if I even fit on this thing, and then I will let you know what we do from there. But yeah, let's go ahead and ride, hopefully, maybe. We'll see. So you can see we have the main queue over here, and then they split you off and send you into the locker area. And to my understanding, I'm so sorry, to my understanding, they are double-sided. right, here is the test seat for the Hiccup Swing Glider coaster. You can see we have these side leg restraints, and there's one in the center here too. So let's see how far down it needs to go. Okay, hold up. Kind of, maybe right there. Okay, is it gonna stay? Okay, in theory, this isn't too bad, but I have heard that it's really tight right here. So that's quite a bit of space. Let's go ahead inside and see how I fit. All right. Oh yeah, this is very easy. So you can see that it's green right now. Let me lift it up. So I do have my gut sucked in just a little bit, but I still have wiggle room. I can relax my gut and still be fine. So I can sit comfortably and do this ride. If you needed to squeeze it in a little bit, that's totally fine, but I'm good, so yay. All right, Hiccup Swing Gliders. That was a fun roller coaster. It packs a punch. The onboard audio is great, and I love the storyline and just being able to hear Hiccup and Toothless talk to you throughout the ride. And of course, you have the classic First Flight music playing throughout the whole coaster. It just adds to the atmosphere and the tone of the ride, and it is just perfect. Super smooth roller coaster, multi-launch roller coaster as well. I absolutely loved it, 10 out of 10. One thing I will note though is that the seats are a little bit uncomfortable themselves. The restraint is fine, I fit comfortably, but like the back of the seat, it's not really padded that well, so it felt a little hard on my back. Other than that though, no complaints on the ride. It was phenomenal. Okay, so here we are at Dragon Racers Rally. We're not gonna be riding this attraction right now, but I wanted to show off the test seat for this attraction first. Dragon Racers Rally is a mildly thrilling flat ride that takes you high in the sky, up and down in a circle. You are able to rotate your seat 360 degrees upside down, round and around if you desire, hence why the over-the-shoulder restraint is necessary. You're able to make this ride as thrilling or as tame as you desire. All right, here is the test seat for Dragon Racers Rally. I don't see a green light or anything, or an indicator. It's on top? Okay. Oh yeah, it's down here. Okay, gotcha. So let's see. Okay, so right there. Right there. Okay, do you mind holding it real quick, holding it steady? All right. So this is how much wiggle room you have to work with this attraction. Seems pretty tight, and you can see the indicator is right there, and it'll turn red and green. Huh. Interesting. Let's go ahead and hop inside.
You're rolling.
Okay, so I have to put it under my fat in order to get the green, but I feel like I could ride this comfortably. If I were to like have my fat underneath the little lip here, then I wouldn't be able to ride. So I feel like this is doable. I'm like not uncomfortable. All right, guys, here we are, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic. All right, this is super exciting. So they have the ride closed down just for us on the VIP tour. So you can see it says closed over there. Only people who are part of the media tour are getting on the ride today. So we will have plenty of time to check out the queue and everything else. Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry. Here's a look at the ride vehicle and where you're getting yourself into. It's like you're getting into a giant elevator. And it's a seatbelt system. I just want to show you guys the ride vehicle. It's a seatbelt system. It goes from right to left. That was incredible. Okay, some ride spoilers are ahead for Battle at the Ministry, so skip to this timestamp for the test seat. This attraction blends the Tower of Terror ride vehicle seating and movement of Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man. You will be traveling up and down and side to side along a track, going from show scene to show scene, with lots of unexpected movements, so you'll definitely want to hang on. Alright guys, here is the test seat for Harry Potter and the Battle of the Ministry. We have a seatbelt over here. You can see how far we can pull it out. That is insane. You could easily stretch it over to the opposite side if you wanted to. It is insanely accommodating, but let me go ahead and sit down to show you guys. Do you have a decent enough amount of space? You're not going to be like encroaching on the person next to you. The seats are pretty wide, so you can see where my shoulder width is. But again, you can pull the seatbelt out. You can pull the seatbelt out all the way over here, and then just clip it in. Where is it? Over here. You clip it in right there, and then you just bring it down all the way. And I recommend when you're riding this to pull the seatbelts from this end as tight as possible, so that way it's nice and flush and you're nice and tight. And then you have handles over here to hold on to. You're gonna wanna hold on to them. But yeah, this ride is super accommodating, and I got the chance to talk to a Universal creative inside, and he said that they specifically went out of their way to make this ride as accommodating as possible, which is a huge win for Potter fans out there, because every other Potter attraction out there, bigger people like us, we have a problem. So the fact that this attraction is so incredible and so accommodating at the same time is such a huge win. So bravo to Universal. All right, guys, it is time for Stardust Racers, the racing and dueling roller coaster here at Epic Universe. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here is the test seat for Stardust Racers. This is a Mach roller coaster, and the seat itself is a dead giveaway that this was made by Mach. Something that is very important to know is that these seats are curved, so your shoulders are going to be pushed in a little bit more towards the center, which may be a problem. Let's go ahead and pull this down. Very similar to what we have on Velocicoaster. And yep, there you go. So that is how much space you're looking at for this ride. It is tight, I am not going to lie. Arguably, I think this is more tight than Velocicoaster. But let's go ahead and hop in and see how I fit. So let's go ahead and get in. Beware of the crotch notch right here. It can catch you by surprise. So what you want to do is you're going to initially pull down from the top, but then you're going to work your way to the sides, and I'll explain what I mean in a second. So you're going to pull down over here, but you can see where this rests on my belly. This is a definite no-go. So what I have to do is I have to pull myself up and push down from the sides in order to get the green light. So very similar to what I did with Velocicoaster, you have to do that here. One thing I will note, because spoiler alert, we already wrote it, I got in the seat upstairs, and the seat upstairs is a lot more accommodating than this over here. So if you're like barely making it, try up there. I will say, by the time we were done with the ride, the bar went down so much more and my fat was all the way up here, and I was rather uncomfortable by the end of the ride. So just be aware that if you're a bigger person, if you can't take having your fat pushed up and forced into your gut for like maybe 30, or not 30, but maybe like 90 seconds in ride duration, because you crest that first hill, you're up and out of your seat and the restraint goes down even more. So it can be an uncomfortable ride, and I would argue that it's going to be a bit more uncomfortable than Velocicoaster. So just bear that in mind. So when you get here, get into the test seat and see how you feel. And also pay attention to the seats over here, because you're kind of scrunched in. So rather than on Velocicoaster where it's a flush surface, you have this that kind of forces your arms in on the side. It's definitely a very different sensation, but it's doable. And I rode both sides semi-comfortably. So just be aware of this one. This ride in particular is going to give people a hard time. Okay, so we just got done with Stardust Racers. We're making our way over to Dark Universe right now. Oh my God. We did both sides. We did yellow and green side. In my opinion, I think green side is a bit more intense than yellow, but they still both have the same top speed. That roller coaster is insane, and I would argue that it is more intense and better than Velocicoaster. I definitely think that Stardust Racers is going to become a lot of coaster enthusiasts' #1 coaster. The airtime on that thing is insane. Oh my God. You thought that you were out of your seat frequently on Velocicoaster? The ejector airtime on this ride cranks it up to a max. You are out of your seat more times than you are in your seat. It is nuts. It's intense, but it is so much fun. If you're a coaster enthusiast and you absolutely love roller coasters, definitely make sure you do both sides, because they both offer different experiences. Oh my gosh, guys, we're here. Dark Universe. It's alive. It's alive. Oh my gosh. My most anticipated land. I decided this a couple of weeks ago that this was my most anticipated land. Oh my god, it's happening. Okay, so unfortunately, the Frankenstein experiment is delayed at the moment, so we're gonna be making our way over to Curse of the Werewolf first. Oh my gosh. This is a spinning coaster that features a double launch. It's a swing launch, that's what I was looking for. So it launches you once, you go backwards, you launch again, and then you launch a third time. 3 consecutive launches on this ride.
Blah, blah. Excuse me! Excuse me! Thank you!
There goes Igor.
You have a fungus growing on your noggin.
So we have the test seat right here for Curse of the Werewolf, but unfortunately it's out of order. So they're gonna bring us inside and we have a whole nother test seat that we can try. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, here is the test seat for Curse of the Werewolf. Like I said earlier, this is a free spin roller coaster. So we have an indicator down here, and I can imagine that the bar needs to reach right there in order to fit. That looks like it's going to be a tight squeeze, my friends. Oh no, I don't know if I'm gonna fit on this. I wasn't expecting to fit on this one, but we'll go ahead and see. Okay, so I was wrong. The indicator is actually a little white line on the side over here. It's kind of hard to see, but you can see the little white line right there. That is how far it needs to go. That is very accommodating, and I actually fit quite well. So even right here, it was fine. And I'm able to sit comfortably. My fat doesn't have to go over the restraint like on some roller coasters. So this is perfect. Pretty accommodating, I'm not gonna lie. This is the first free spin roller coaster that I was actually able to fit on in a long time. And finally, we have Monsters Unchained, the Frankenstein experiment. We sadly did not get the opportunity to ride because of breakdowns, but we did get a good look at the test seat. This ride vehicle and motion is extremely similar to Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, but with a few big differences.
Like from what I understand, the smaller test seat is still bigger than the normal seat on Forbidden Journey. The 2 middle seats, which are going to be slightly higher, are a little more spacious, so they are more forgiving on those restraints. If you'd like to try them, you're more than welcome to hop in there.
Yes, absolutely. We're going to be doing that right now. Thank you so much. All right, so let's go ahead and try the test seats. Let's sit down in the less accommodating one. So even though this one is less accommodating, it's still overall bigger than the one that they have at Forbidden Journey. So we're going to pull this down, and I only have to squeeze it a little bit in order to get the green light, whereas at Forbidden Journey, I have to put a little bit of effort into it, and they have to push me in. But this one, it's very minimal effort in order to get the green light on this one. And this is the least accommodating one. So that's already a win. Let's go ahead and hop on over to the middle seats, which the 2 middle seats, as you heard earlier, are the bigger of the seats. So they're a little bit wider and they have a bit more space for your gut. So let's go ahead and hop over. And the middle seat is a little bit higher, so just be aware of that, and beware of this over here, gentlemen. So yeah, even less effort is needed on this seat compared to that one, but it's insane how they added a modified seat for this, and I absolutely love it. Epic Universe is so accommodating and so fat friendly. I love it. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, you now know what to expect on every major attraction at Epic Universe. There are, of course, plenty of other family attractions that don't require a test seat, but we did our best to cover these seats as best as possible to make sure you know exactly what to expect when you visit in the future. I really hope you all enjoyed today's video and found it helpful. If you did, then please help out the channel by leaving a like, and if you want, subscribe for more test seat content in the future. I hope you are all having a wonderful day, morning, afternoon, and evening, and I will see you guys in the next video.